Daryl, when you're somebody like Dylan, who's now been like part of your program for a year and a half, should this kind of be a year where you see another step from a player like him?
Yeah, I think Dylan, him and I have talked about it. His probably February on and then playoffs. Dylan's a really good player for us, so that's what he takes now. Right? He's a versatile kid, and he's a guy that's, just as he gets a little bit older, the whole preparation part, the maturity part of his game, everything takes another step, and that's what you want. It's as I've been saying, that those are the key guys for our team. It's not we're not going back to where it was 2 or 3 years ago, where all they talked about was individuals and stars, right? You have to see improvement from those players as they go forward.
Could he fill that role on that second line right winger spot that seems to be open right now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's open. I think once we get everybody back, we know pretty much where it is. It's only open to outside. It's
Over the years,
Eric Dillon can play. I think he's a better left winger than a right winger, but he's also played center in junior, which it's easy for a coach to fall back, and that's where we've moved with Dillon too. If you look at it, every time that we've pushed him all over the lineup, so I don't think there's much difference between our 2, 3, 4 lines, quite honest. So where he plays in there is just how other guys are doing. I think Dylan is, I'm comfortable playing him anywhere. We moved him into penalty killing last year, things like that. You just keep trying to get him to keep pushing forward a little.
Over the years, and you've done camps forever in different ways, different times. Do you like where it is now, with kind of coming in, testing 3 days and however many preseason games? Or
yeah, we just break it. This year's camp would be different probably than prior camps. Just that you play 5 games in the first 9 days. So what that sort of to me our camp's broken into 3 different divisions. It's the 5 and 9, and I think it's 3 and 7, and then 5 days till we start the season. So the first 5 will indicate, you're moving guys around and giving guys opportunities, things like that, and then you'll probably by October 1st, then you're pushing more into trying to get some continuity in your group.
From the outside looking in, it doesn't look like there are a lot of open spots on this team. So how important is internal competition, and are you happy with the amount of that you have?
Well, I wouldn't say open spots. I mean, it's pretty easy to count contracts. But in terms of who plays where is way more important than that.
How's Andrew Mangiapane progressing?
Andrew Mangiapane is progressing nicely.
What's your message to him about things he can be working on and what you want to see from him even when he's not skating with group number 1?
He's skating. He's probably working as hard as anybody else in the group. It's just he's not doing it with others. So tomorrow he'll go with some players, and the next day he'll go with a full group. We'll just keep progressing them. And as I said, he's not involved in the game part of the first of that 5 game part, but he'll be involved.
How do you view the strength of your blue line? You have some returning guys. You got obviously McKenzie in there, but what is the strength of your blue line?
I think we'll find out as we go here. Again, it's about partners, and it's about who can play where. I mean, it's you know what, you need minute munchers. You want to make the playoffs. You want to move on. Once you get the playoffs, stretch series out. It's about guys who eat minutes. It's not about anything other than that. I think that showed up when you look at the playoffs. Just put it this way: the playoffs last year, Tanny gets hurt, and Oliver and Z both played with significant injuries. So, you know what, we swallowed hard. So guys we put in, we got through 7 against Dallas, but the next part we couldn't, because you can say what you want. That was centerman in that position was an issue for us.
Mackenzie said, just yesterday you talked about some of the differences between the style of play in the East and the West, and he said it was kind of more of a run and gun type of game out there and a little more systems based here. Do you think that's a pretty accurate assessment?
Yeah, I think it would depend what team you played on. I think I certainly wouldn't call Tampa Bay a run and gun team, but maybe Florida was.
Darryl, you have some depth on defense. You also have some good young defensemen. For a player like Yuso,
Yeah.
what do you want to see from him as he tries to take a step forward this year?
Take some responsibility in this 200-foot game for sure. I think that's another player that was put in a position too early, and he's had to learn and adjust, and hopefully he's made some strides in it. We'll see. I mean, based on performance, nothing else.
You mentioned yesterday you weren't expecting to see anything special from Jacques Pelletier, but I still would like to know.
Well, that gentleman who asked that question asked the question in a way that the player has to do something special.
Right.
Well, he doesn't have to do nothing special. He just got to go play his game.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what it is. I mean, it's not that he's no more special than anybody else. I mean, he'll get an opportunity in these first 5 games, and hopefully, hey, he's a confident, great kid, right? So you want him to do well.
That's my question.
What is it about Michael Stone where just when you think it might be the end of the road for him, he's just right back in there?
He's here on tryout. He'd be no different than anybody from the kids you're talking about. I mean, there's only so many spots on defense. You're not carrying 8 or 9 defensemen. So there's, right now without Oliver and Danny's late in camp, and so there's a mix of guys. Again, it's the top end of it has to be really good players for it, and then there's a real competition after that.
Is it safe to say that this organization is a place where young players aren't going to be gifted an opportunity? They're going to have to basically steal a job from someone to get it?
Yeah, I don't think steal is the right word. I think that there is there's not, when you're not picking right at the top end of the draft for last few years, you're not getting guys that come in out of junior or come in out of college or come in after 1 year of the American League. It takes they're kids and they need time. And if you rush them too soon, then a lot of times they're losing their careers or they're losing NHL positions.
Your group here obviously had a playoff appearance last year. I know the gang down in Stockton, some very key young players were on that group. What can a long playoff run in the AHL do for some of these guys who are coming into this camp and trying to make a claim for a?
I don't think it doesn't matter what league you're playing in. The longer you can play, the better it is for you. I think that the playoffs are a different animal altogether. So, they had a really good year, but they've had a big turnover too. So you're looking at you still need that character and leadership, that sort of thing. But then you're looking for the younger players to take a step. And just looking at it from an overview, I mean, just for example, who would their best player been last year? Dustin Wolf. So Dustin Wolf is one of those boys that's evolving, right? He's had a great year. He's having a good camp. Just continue to pursue your dream and work at your career. So there's no shortcuts to it.